sometimes phrases or statements that people make can constantly be reminded to me. And I remember I worked at this bar in Milwaukee. I did not like it at all. But when I told people I was from Philadelphia, they don't ask me any questions about history, you know, housing, colleges. We have one of the best schools, an Ivy League school in University City, University of Penn. He didn't ask me about that. He didn't ask me, all the history, the museums. No, he asked me, what kind of gangs do you guys have down there? Now, I have to understand the level of maturity in some people. Some people are so juvenile minded that they want to just talk about, you know, street shit, hood shit, rap beef, things that have no substance. And I'm not going to make this channel about that. But since he asked, and that always pops up in my mind, I want to tell you what kind of gangs that I know of through you're going to get the opinion, you're going to get the answer from someone that is an introvert. I've been arrested one time when I was 15. So I was able to explore and see through my own experience the other side of the people who grew up in North Philly. They didn't grow up in a 2-parent household. Not that I did, but they didn't have a lot of the opportunities that I did. This is why I'm trying to finish college and get a career and make something of myself, because it's not like I didn't have opportunities. It's just that I fell victim of, my PTSD and other things. But I want to tell you about these gangs that I know of and what I perceive as gangs. So when I was arrested, it had a very profound effect on me. I never got in trouble after that. I'm not a goody two shoes, but I never been arrested since I was 15. When I was in juvie, I don't know where I saw this at, but one time there was a lot of graffiti, a lot of like scratches on the walls where it looked like graffiti. You didn't see graffiti on with markers or pens, but you saw like a lot of graffiti on walls. And I know they weren't in our rooms because we weren't allowed to do that I remember. But somebody told me, I saw like LA on the walls, and he said that means Lansdowne Avenue. That's a gang. Then I saw DB. That means Dollar Boys. That's another gang. So there are no Crips and Bloods at all that I know of in Philadelphia. But one gang is Lansdowne Avenue and Dollar Boys, because it's weird. I remember somebody had a group called Dollar Boys, like a dance group, and one of the founders was arrested for child sex abuse. But anyway, those are two gangs. Another gang that I think is a gang, and I'm sorry if I piss some people off, but the Muslims that come from jail with the beards, and they wear their abbas, they have their kufis on, and they, most of the time, if you walk down Center City, they'll say, hey, shake your hand, and they'll rub some shit on your wrist, and you don't even know what it is. And then they'll ask you, can you buy some? Now, I would buy some now, but back in the day when I didn't really work a job, I just worked enough to buy, skateboard shoes. I would say, I'm sorry, but I don't have money on me. But I perceive them as a gang, because ask yourself this question: how many Muslims do you know that sell drugs or used to sell drugs or kind of sort of stopped selling but still does. Because I've worked with at least 5 that do everything that's contrary to their religion. So it makes me think that they are a gang, but they hide behind Islam. So yeah, I would throw them in that equation. If you are a real Muslim, don't take offense to what I said, but I've have and excuse me, my neighbor that killed his baby was a Muslim. Murder is against the law in the Quran, I'm sure. So don't get mad at me. Just think about what I said. I've encountered a lot of Muslims that sell drugs. And number 1, the biggest gang in Philly are the corrupt police officers. Not that I have encountered any, but the ones that work with drug dealers. The ones that know drugs are being sold and they do nothing about it. The ones that turn a blind eye towards crime, drugs, murder. They're the biggest gang ever. Oh yeah, one more. Downtown, the judges, every judge, and the district attorney, Larry Krasner. They're a gang too. But this is my message to gangs. What is your purpose in doing these things? Selling drugs, shooting people. What are you doing for the people who live in these communities? Because in my eyes, you're not helping. You're part of the problem. You're not fighting homelessness. You're not doing anything productive. You're not sending money to help these kids learn. You're not donating money to schools. You're not doing food drives. You're doing drive-bys. So my message is, don't join a gang. Don't be a follower. You came in this world by yourself. You'll die by yourself. Stand on your own 2 feet.